Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm an hour late. I apologize. I had technical issues, but we are going live right now with the science on high blood pressure with Dr. Midge Brown, and I've got Trent Tueller on here and Jonathan Scott. So I'm going to play this now. If you have any questions, make sure to ask me. I will answer them. And just take some note, paper, and pen, write some things down, some questions you have, and I'm very, very excited to be sharing this live with you. So let's get started. Let's go right now. Hold on a second. Volume's done.
Welcome, everybody, to this call. We're glad that you're here. We have 209 people already, 211 already in the live call here on Zoom. This is also being restreamed on Facebook and in other places, YouTube, I believe. There will be thousands and thousands of people that hear this call. I am glad that you're here. I want to introduce myself and get this call off to a successful start. We have a very special guest tonight who I cannot wait to hear from. And I want to introduce her and talk a little bit about what we're doing with these calls. So we're up to 235 on the Zoom call, 237 now on the Zoom call. We will have thousands of people that see this, and we're so happy. When we started doing these calls, there was just a handful of us, but they're growing organically because of you. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for telling people. And if somebody has invited you to this call, they love you and care about you, and you will thank them later. So I'm going to stall for just another 10 seconds here as I try to get my slides working. What's going on here? All right, I think we're in business now. So hey, Glenn Speed Jr. Yeah, and if you don't mind, guys, put a note in the chat where you're tuning in from. It's always great. Patty Parks is in Texas. McAllen, Texas is Erica Garza. Awesome. Cynthia is in Mexico. We have people from all over the world tuning in. We're glad to have you here. Okay, let's share the screen and get started. So if this is your first time here, I'll introduce myself briefly, all right? My name is Trent, and about 8 years ago, my dad died from stage 4 colon cancer. And when my dad got sick, the cancer had spread all over his body. My dad, the colon cancer, unfortunately, is what finished the poor guy off. But long before colon cancer, my dad had prediabetes. He struggled with blood sugar control. He struggled with weight control, blood pressure, cholesterol. He had psoriasis all over his body, a very serious skin condition. And my dad was like the greatest guy on earth. But nobody really took the time to talk to him about these problems. And so he took the medications for these problems. He was taking lots of different medications. And unfortunately, one of the side effects was colon cancer. That was one of the side effects of some of the biologics he was taking for his psoriasis. And he died. And when my dad got sick, I just kind of freaked out, right? What does a loving son who's not a doctor, not a medical professional, somebody that knows nothing, right? What does he do to try and save his dying father? And so I started to read and study and research everything that I could. And when I saw that the writing was on the wall a decade, maybe two decades earlier, but that we weren't told what to look for. Nobody told us what to look for. And so it was like standing in front of a train that was going 2 miles an hour and not getting out of the way. And so I wanted to spread awareness about insulin resistance, about blood sugar, about prediabetes, about obesity, and how these problems can be solved naturally without drugs most of the time, right? And so I started making content on social media. Now I have over 1 million followers on social media, strangers from all over the world who have used the protocol that we're going to be talking about tonight. Many of them have used it. It has changed their life. It is something that anybody can follow. And we're doing these calls to spread awareness. We want people to know what nobody wants to tell them, seemingly. That there are some simple, easy things that you can do starting tomorrow that could help you start feeling better as soon as tomorrow. All right. And I have a very, very special guest for tonight's call. This is my family. We live in Utah, and I want to start this call a little differently than I normally do. Right now, if your doctor is worth his salt, right, or her salt, If you were to go to them and say, hey, what is the biggest problem that is driving this metabolic health crisis? Why is everybody getting diabetes and PCOS for women and erectile dysfunction for men? Why is everybody getting fatter and sicker? If the doctor knows his stuff or her stuff, they will say the problem, the root cause, is something called insulin resistance. This is what Lustig is talking about. It's what Bickman is talking about. It's what Fung is talking about. It's what the glucose goddess is talking about. Anybody that has been awake knows about this problem. This is the leak in your bathroom downstairs in the basement that you don't know about, that is actually destroying the value of your home. This often goes undetected until it's too late. If my dad would have known what to look for in terms of insulin resistance, he'd be alive today. But instead, he got hit with obesity and fatty liver and prediabetes, right? These are all signs and symptoms. This is what happens when insulin resistance goes unresolved. And we want to change that. We want to change it for the world. We want to spread awareness and let you know that you can solve this problem. And when you solve this problem, you will often solve a bunch of other problems. And so if you or somebody you love has these problems, what if you could solve it for them? All right. We're going to talk about how to solve this problem tonight. And I'm going to come back to this and I'm going to explain a very simple two-step protocol that anybody can follow that will change their life. Give it 90 days. You'll feel better than you have in years. Okay. So I'm going to come back to this. The real goal of tonight's call is simply to educate. We want to spread awareness and educate. We have nurses on this call. We have diabetes educators. We have doctors. You know what? Do me a favor. If you're a medical professional, if you work in the medical industry, whether that's as a doctor, a nurse, an educator, a nutritionist, a dietitian, would you put medical in the chat? I just want people to see what is happening in the medical community. We have started a movement. All right. Medical, 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 RN, dietitian, physical therapist, medical, 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 lots of doctors, lots of medical professionals. This is really cool. Okay. And to begin, I would like to introduce you to a medical professional. This is a really, really special person. This is somebody who I met. She saw one of my TikTok videos. She lives in Toronto, Canada. We were perfect strangers. She saw one of my TikTok videos and it resonated with her. Now, Dr. Midge Brown is an endocrinologist in Toronto, Canada. And I love this woman. Many people don't know this about her, and I don't know if she would ever say this about herself. So I'm going to do it, and I hope I don't turn into an emotional mess here. This is a woman who literally quit her job at the hospital to start teaching people about what we're going to show you tonight full time. She's literally on social media, going live every day, telling everyone who will listen how to get off their drugs, stay out of the hospital, and do it naturally. Now, how many people do you know that would do that and would hang up an extremely well-paying job? She's very special. She has agreed tonight to talk about the science of blood sugar. That's going to be our topic for tonight. I have a very special guest who we're going to bring on after Dr. Brown. And this special guest, you won't believe the story, 46 days on the protocol, what has happened to him. After Dr. Brown and my special guest, I'm going to explain this protocol very carefully for anybody that's here new for the first time and has not started the protocol. And then if we have time, we may do some Q&A. So Dr. Midge Brown, a pediatric endocrinologist in Toronto, Canada, is going to be teaching us. Dr. Midge, I will mute myself and turn the floor over to you.
Thanks, Trent. That was so kind of you. So I'm going to just share my screen and hopefully I can do this because I'm old. Hold on. Okay, hold on a sec, guys. Let me go find my screen. Okay. Oh, isn't it funny? My the one that I wanted to share. No, hold on. No. This is okay, hold on. I got it, guys. All right. So,
We
can
can
you
see
see
it.
that?
Yep, we can see it. We see my story.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so guys, my story starts with my dad. About 28 years ago, when I was doing my peds residency, my father was diagnosed with severe type 2 diabetes because he had ignored his symptoms for so long. And looking back now, I really feel like I just watched him getting all of these complications that I'm going to talk to you guys about today. But I didn't know now, or I didn't know then what I know now. So essentially, about 7 years ago, as I was going through perimenopause, I developed prediabetes and I got really scared because I knew firsthand that medications were not going to save me. And I really went down a rabbit hole trying to figure out what was going to save me. And I found wonderful things like intermittent fasting and carb control. My problem was that I could not be consistent with the carbs. I kept falling off the keto wagon and I was struggling. Like literally, I was getting worsening prediabetes. I had to go on metformin and I was one scared, but really ashamed because, endocrinologist with prediabetes or diabetes is kind of like going to a dermatologist and she's got like a big pimple on her head, right? And so I was very, very scared. I basically saw this great guy who has now become a very dear friend and, took a chance on these products. And I'm so happy I did because it literally saved me, right? And it's gone on to save my father in many respects as well. But that is why I'm here because what I've learned while also using these products has been mind-blowing to me, and I want to share that with you guys. So Trent is absolutely right. We're in the midst of a global health crisis, like nothing like we've ever seen before. And it is mainly because of poor metabolic health and insulin resistance. But really, before I talk about insulin resistance, I want to explain a few things to you guys. I want you guys to know that all carbohydrates, right, even the whole wheat, like healthy carbs, or the genetically modified massive fruits and vegetables, they turn into sugar in our bloodstream. The other thing I really want you guys to know is that there's only actually 1 teaspoon of blood sugar circulating in our blood at any given time, right? But it's actually only half a teaspoon more that you would need extra in order to get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And yet, the majority of us are eating on average about 200 to 300 grams of carbohydrates every day. That's about 50 to 75 teaspoons, and I got a little baggie, I don't know if you can see, of sugar every single day. The other thing I want you guys to know is about my friend or a friend of me, the insulin hormone. Insulin is a hormone that's released by the pancreas, and usually every time we eat is the biggest reason, but it's released to bring the blood sugar down. It literally opens the door to the cells so that we can bring the blood sugar into the cells to be converted into energy. Now, the issue is that every time we eat, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks in between, it raises our blood sugar and that makes the insulin come out. And the issue is that we are eating all the time. And so the insulin is elevated all the time. And so basically, we're really causing the insulin hormone to be very stressed and overworked. And what ends up happening is the insulin is elevated all the time, the body becomes naturally resistant to it because with anything in life, if something is elevated, then you become resistant to it. And so what ends up happening is that the next time you eat that high carby food, your body has to release even more insulin to do its job. And this becomes a vicious cycle where now you become even more resistant and then you release more insulin, which then causes even more resistance until one day your blood sugar starts to climb and you're diagnosed with diabetes. But the thing I want you guys to realize is that this process can take 5, 10, 15, 20 years before the insulin resistance leads to the high blood sugar. But what's missing is the havoc that insulin and the insulin resistance has on our body even before the diabetes sets in. And that's because insulin isn't just responsible for blood sugar control, it's actually got hundreds of other functions. And that's why when you have a problem with insulin, you're going to get all the symptoms that Trent was talking about and more, right? Symptom after symptom that you guys are all feeling, that you go to your doctor with. They usually just say, you know what, it's it's a part of aging, or let's give you a medication for it, right? And if left unchecked, those symptoms will not only go into diabetes, but it's also the root cause. This insulin resistance problem is also the root cause of heart disease, of cancer, of fatty liver disease, of strokes, of dementia, which is now called type 3 diabetes. So one of the things I want to just go back now, but first I just have to take a sip of water. Hold on. I want to kind of go back and figure out why this happened, right? And the biggest reason is because of our diet. And first, I want you guys to know that when we're eating, we have 3 macronutrients that we eat. We have carbohydrates, we have protein, and we have fats. And this is what happens when we eat those specific carbohydrates in terms of our insulin. You see that carbohydrates raise our insulin the most, while protein, not as much, maybe about 20 to 30% of what carbohydrates do, and fat, almost not at all. The issue here is that they have us believing that we should be eating mainly carbohydrates. If you guys remember the food pyramid from the 1990s, right, where they said we have to eat 6 to 11 servings of grains a day, and they said we should really eat fat sparingly, and it was just a little tip of that food pyramid. And even though that food pyramid is no longer something that anyone really recommends, that image is stuck in our head. And so that's the reality, is most of us are eating a predominantly carb heavy diet, which is impacting our insulin the most and is a big factor for insulin resistance. Now, the other thing I want you guys to realize is the distinction between simple carbs and complex carbs, because I get this a lot where people are like, oh, no, I don't eat sugar. That's okay. I don't eat added sugar. I just eat healthy, complex carbs. Once again, I want you guys to realize that all carbs, even the complex ones, turns into sugar in your body. And in fact, even some of the complex carbs, like bread, like potatoes, actually have a higher glycemic index than a simple sugar like sucrose. So I want you guys to get that out of your head, that just because you're eating complex carbs, you're eating healthy. So, okay, when I made this slide, I giggled to myself because I felt like Trent was going to just shake his head at all the words on here and absolutely no pictures. So this is mainly for the science geeks on here who basically want to learn a little bit extra about glycemic index. But another tool that's called the glycemic load, because glycemic index only gives you half of the issue, which is how fast the blood sugar rises with a certain type of food. But a glycemic load will actually give you not only how fast something is, but how it actually impacts. So I'm only going to say that and leave it at that, because I don't want you guys all confused. But this is for the science nerds, okay? Okay, so basically, why this is so important is because blood sugar is very, very damaging. But as I'm going through the stages of high blood sugar, I also want you guys to realize, once again, that insulin is lurking in the background. So independent of the high blood sugar, insulin is causing damage as well. And as we go through these stages, insulin is causing even more damage. So stage 1, you may get slight elevations in your blood sugar, but it's still in the diabetic range. Nobody's going to alert you that you've got like an actual issue, but you're going to feel tired all the time. You're going to have cravings. You're just going to feel brain fog, frequent urination and thirst, and dry mouth, which I have right now. So hold on a sec. And then in stage 2, you might start to get some hyperglycemia, right? And that number on the bottom is for the Canadians, so you guys can ignore it. But you might start to see that you're starting to get higher elevations in blood sugar every once in a while. And this is the stage where you're really going to start to get some symptoms like blurry vision. You're going to have headaches, skin tags, darkened skin, which is called acanthosis nigricans. And this is actually pathognomonic for you having issues with not only high blood sugar, but you having insulin resistance. And then in stage 3, this is where the doctor actually says, hold up, you have a problem, right? Where they can measure your hemoglobin A1C and see that if it's between 5.7 and 6.4, you've been alerted to having a problem. But once again, I want to really emphasize the fact that you don't want to wait till this happens, because the problem happens way before with insulin resistance. But in this stage, you're going to have major belly fat, but more than the outside fat, you are worried about the visceral fat, right? The fat around your organs, inside your abdomen. You're going to have constant hunger for food, and you're going to have issues with fatty liver disease. And then here's stage 4, which is type 2 diabetes, where now your hemoglobin A1C is over 6.5%. And this is a very scary stage, right? Because you're going to get major complications, things like poor wound healing and infections, which was a major issue with my dad. Like, he always had wounds. We were always taking care of them, right? And then kidney disease, chronic kidney disease, or actually I should say type 2 diabetes, is the leading cause of chronic kidney disease. And if this is left unchecked, this means you have to go on a dialysis machine, right? And then heart attacks. Something that a lot of people don't realize is that type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance are the leading risk factors for heart disease, not that LDL cholesterol, right? And yet we're just focused on that little number, when really we should be addressing the real root cause, which is high blood sugars and insulin resistance. And then stage 5 is the point of no return, where you're getting advanced issues, chronic high blood sugar leading to permanent organ damage. And so at this stage, you're going to have loss of vision and blindness because of diabetic retinopathy. The scary thing with my dad's presentation was he actually started with this because he had actually ignored his symptoms for so long. Sorry, I'm just going to have a sip. Because he had ignored his symptoms for so long, he actually had diabetic retinopathy, and he, till this day, is almost blind because of his diabetes. And then amputations. I mean, there's no going back from that. And dementia, which once again is now called type 3 diabetes, and is also something that my father suffers from. Okay, so just some takeaways. Sorry, I get so emotional. But some takeaways that I want you guys to get. I think I've imparted enough how important dietary sugar and carbohydrates has on this issue, right? There are definitely other reasons we get insulin resistance and diabetes, but this is a big, big reason. And the thing is that we can control this. The other thing I want you guys to realize, and I think you got the point, is that uncontrolled sugar is very damaging. But once again, it's not just about the sugar, it's also about what's happening underneath it all with high insulin levels and the resistance. Both those things are going to cause a lot of damage. And that's why meds are not the solution, right? Because we have a lot of medications that are going to try to bring your blood sugar down. But because those meds are not actually addressing what's really going on, which is that insulin resistance and the high insulin levels, they may not actually make you better. It may make everybody feel better because your blood sugar comes down, but some of those meds are actually just storing your sugar in places and still causing the damage. So I want you guys to really understand that. The other thing is that this is all very good news, because if we can actually, if we got here because of our diet and our lifestyle, we can actually implement changes with insulin lowering strategies by changing our diet and our lifestyle. And one of the reasons I'm here is because we have a fantastic solution to doing just that. Thanks, Trent.
This was maybe the best presentation that I have seen on high blood sugar ever. And I've seen some good ones. I've seen, some of the best in the world actually. And that was incredible. So thank you, Dr. Midge.
Thanks.
Dr. Midge, it very, very generous of you to take your valuable time and teach a bunch of perfect strangers how to stay out of the hospital and what is high blood sugar and what are the risks. So thank you, Midge. We really appreciate Dr. Midgen Brown in Toronto, Canada. Thank you. Okay, that was amazing. Now, you may be thinking, I don't have diabetes. I don't have pre-diabetes. I'm observably healthy. My blood works fine, right? And I love what Midge said. The way that this pops up and gets you is just like that. Just like she said, you're fine for 10 years, your labs are perfect, you're not feeling totally like you used to, but the doctor says you're fine. And then overnight, all of a sudden you have chronic fatigue, you're peeing all the time, you're drinking lots of water, it's unquenchable thirst. You're like, doctor, what is going on? The doctor says, well, how long have you been a type 2 diabetic? And you're like, what do you mean? I don't have diabetes. I don't have pre-diabetes. What do you mean? And they're like, your A1C is a 13 right now. We need immediate intervention, right? This is what happened with my dad. It was slowly at first and then all at once, right? This is the seed growing roots beneath the surface, the insulin resistance growing beneath the surface. And one day it pops its head above the ground and now you've got to deal with it, right? Why wait? Why wait? All right. So I want to bring, I'm going out of order. This is out of order. This is a little new for me, the way we're doing it tonight. In a moment, I want to explain this protocol. Normally, I would explain the protocol and then give you lots of proof, but I'm going to give you lots of proof tonight. And I'm going to start with a little bit of proof. We have a guest on this call who has been on this protocol for a very short period of time, relatively. And I believe it's about 50 days. 50 days or so on the protocol. Now, what is the protocol? Well, that's what I'm going to show you after this guest. And then we're going to give you lots and lots of proof and have time to answer questions for those that are new. Okay. You can see that many are not new in the chat. We have people that come to this call every week, that refer people to this call that they love and care about. And many of the people on this call are now off their drugs, out of the hospital, and living better lives than they ever imagined possible. And my next guest is somebody that is, well, really one of those stories. This is somebody that I have actually not met. So I'm interviewing a stranger here, but it's a stranger that I've has a great reputation, that I've been told wonderful things about. This is Jonathan Scott. And Jonathan, maybe to begin, could you just introduce yourself to the group and to me, and maybe just tell us a little bit about who Jonathan Scott is.
Well, that can get into a deep conversation. There's two things. It's what I do and what is my purpose. But just giving you a little bit about myself. Born and raised Dallas, Texas. Graduated from the University of Texas. Went on after graduating from Texas. Played in the NFL for 10 years. Retired in the NFL in 2015. I'm an entrepreneur. I have my hands in different variables, if you will, real estate, business, you name it. So, but kind of what got me to this call is understanding there's three things in life. You got time, money, and health. Those are the three variables. And my health took a toll. After playing, the lifestyle of being a professional athlete that diminished, well, completely stopped. And my health took a toll. And how that happened was real simple. Just not doing the same things I was doing when I was a professional athlete, working out as much, the same type of eating regimen, the toll that that you need, or the toll that your body takes as a professional athlete. I wasn't doing that anymore. I'm just a average Joe. So
So
that's kind of a brief story.
thank you. And it's so cool. I mean, we're all enamored by the idea that we're talking to a former 10-year. I mean, you don't make it in the pros unless you're good, and you don't make it 10 years unless you're dang good. And so, Jonathan, awesome to have you on the call. How long have you been on this protocol so far?
So yeah, so I'm on the protocol for 48 days. 48 days.
48 days. And would
Yep.
you mind just telling the group, where were you at with your health prior to starting this protocol? What were some of the problems you were dealing with?
Yeah. I know we got something cool to show the viewers here, but
Pull it up. Yeah,
um,
I'll pull it up while you're talking.
so what happened was I was diagnosed. I was having this abdominal pain back last July. In in July, gut, my lower abdomen was really hurting. Then I went to a gastro doctor, and they told me that, oh yeah, you have GERD as well as irritable bowel syndrome. Now, despite that, I also am diagnosed with psoriatic disease, plaque psoriasis, and psoriatic arthritis. So it got to the point, in this picture that everyone sees, the picture on the left, I took that picture earlier this year. I was 383 pounds. I started in February, started the protocol, and next thing you know, the first immediate thing that I noticed is that my brain fog went away. So the doctor was saying, "Hey, you got irritable bowel syndrome." So I went to the doctor, got did all the tests and everything, and I got a colonoscopy. And at the time, I was 383 pounds. I am currently 338 pounds. So I was 383 pounds. Now I'm 338 pounds. And so, uh,
You're down 45 pounds in 48 days?
yeah, yeah. And that picture, that testament, the picture on the right. I just took that picture April 29th. I was getting honored for an award. I had to get my suit taken in. I lost a bunch, everything. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh God, am I losing? I'm losing weight kind of fast. But when taking the protocol, uh, taking the Unamate, started getting my mental clarity back to where I remember it. Um, I had rheumatoid arthritis in my hand. So this hand right here, I couldn't quite close my index finger in a fist. And it was like I had to do this, and it was excruciating pain. Oh, so I don't take any medication anymore for um, irritable bowel syndrome anymore. My psoriasis, I had plaque psoriasis on my hairline and around my face. Not to brag, but my skin is glowing. It's looking good. Feeling good. So, and it's crazy. It's called the Feel Great system because I'm feeling great. I just started shedding weight. The biggest thing is that the discipline. Stick to the program. Don't try to do your own thing. Just stick to the program. And the program is dumb easy. I'm a professional athlete. Trust me, I've done all types of diets, and I've done keto, like by itself without this system. It's tough. It's real tough. This is super easy. Now this is part of my regimen. Like I said, I go everywhere with my bottle. Um, it's just amazing. My hand, I got my digits back. Now they can't fix broken fingers and stuff like that, but I can definitely say that I'm definitely feeling great. It's one of a kind, And then on top of that, my blood pressure went down. It was like 180 over 106.
Wow.
It's down to 130, 135, and it's doing well. I'm interested in seeing my blood, my blood levels because I took my test initially, and I'm going to take my test again in 90 days. And I just want to compare them and see what they are. But what I can say is mentally, I'm on point. Physically, I'm feeling good. As you can see in the picture, different.
Looking
I look
good.
different.
Looking good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, look good and feeling good. So, with that, from a spiritual standpoint, I've gotten even closer with closer to God, having that personal relationship, having a good, just a great relationship with my significant other. Um, testosterone is working like it should. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Good.
A lot of smiles. I'm just in a better mood. I dealt with depression, PTSD from, playing. My symptoms are better. Even my therapist said, "What are you doing?" And let me be a part of it. So it's just my testimony. I'm not. I have to make this very clear because I'm very big on being very candid. I'm not being paid to be here. I'm doing this just because it aligns with my purpose is to empower people. And if there are people out there kind of on the fence, this is my testimony. This is my book of Jonathan, if you will. Just giving you my testimony of it's working, it is working, and I plan to continue to do that. And I'm just relaying the message. My sister, she just started. She just called me right before I got here, and she was like, "Jonathan, I don't know what to tell you. I'm day 4 in. I am regular. I'm feeling great. I haven't felt like this in years." And I'm like, and it was unwarranted. And if you have loved ones, which I know we all do, I I tell you, just take the leap of faith. And then at the end of the day, from a monetary standpoint, is a money back guarantee, no questions asked. Well, I don't plan on getting my money back because I'm going to keep ordering because it's you got your bottle. It's just been phenomenal for me. It's actually helped various lanes in my life. It's the mental health, the mental capacity. Like I said, it's just been amazing.
Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Yeah, my pleasure.
This was better than, I mean, we couldn't have scripted it better. You're
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you. It's true. I'm not offering him anything for coming here other than a big thank you from all of us. And if you
Mm.
look at the chat, man, you're getting a lot of love in the chat. There's 448 people on this call and thousands watching
Wow.
the stream right now. Thank you,
Mm.
Scott.
My pleasure.
Story, and hope you have a great day, brother. Bless you.
Same to you, man. Y'all have a great day and keep feeling great.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it, brother. Thank you so much. Okay. That was amazing. Okay. And if you thought that was good, wait until you see the proof I'm about to show you. Now, I'm going to get a little passionate about something if you'll just indulge me. Okay. Because many people that are on the call right now have not started this protocol. There may be even a little bit of frustration about, hey, they've been talking about the protocol, the protocol. What is the protocol? Why are they hiding it? Nothing to hide. I honestly wanted to build up some suspense. Okay. So I'm going to explain what the protocol is. First, I want to show you this picture again. I am passionate about this because I was not able to save my dad. Dr. Midge, passionate about this because she was not, I mean, her dad's alive, but was not able to intervene and help her dad. We see the truth, okay? I want you to remember this photo because there's somebody in your life who you love and care about who's either no longer with us or is suffering. And I want to show you something that could change or save their lives or really that will change the world, okay? So we've talked a lot about insulin resistance. We've talked about how it's the root cause of most every metabolic condition, or it's strongly correlated with every single metabolic condition. I want you to imagine something with me real fast as I explain this protocol. Imagine that you are an inventor and you have come up with an idea. You have figured out how to address and solve the problem of insulin resistance. Not only have you figured it out, but you have a patent on it. Nobody can copy it. If you could solve this problem and therefore solve many other problems, heart disease, I mean, this is the #1 killer in the world. What if you could solve that problem? Your invention that you've patented solves these problems. What would you do with that? You could save 1 billion or 2 billion people from premature deaths. So not only do you have this solution and this patent, but let's say you also have a time machine and you can go back in time. Who would you save? I would save my dad. I would save other people that I love and care about. Who would you save? Maybe there's somebody, maybe you could put their name in the chat. Maybe it's your mom, your dad, your brother, your friend, your child, right? Maybe they're not dead yet, but the time machine can prevent them from where they are today and what they're suffering with, okay? So we have a solution to the problem of insulin resistance, and nobody knows about it and nobody can copy it, okay? This protocol, this solution has 5 patents on it. I'm a bit of a conspiracy guy, and I think it is criminal that there is not more awareness about this protocol. So the foundation, the early stages of this were developed by Rexall. Many of you know the Rexall drugstore name, right? Rexall drugs developed the beginning of it, but it really wasn't, there are no drugs in it. It is natural. It's been studied at the Cleveland Clinic, at the University of Sydney. You know, Dr. Midge talked about the glycemic index. The University of Sydney, they invented the glycemic index. They've studied this protocol and this product, all right? It's been studied. So we've got the patents, we've got the clinical studies, and there are no drugs in it. This is what you would call a nutraceutical. Now, most people aren't familiar with the term nutraceutical. They've heard of a pharmaceutical. A nutraceutical is something that is clinically proven to behave similar to a pharmaceutical, only it is natural. There are no drugs in it, right? Okay, my pen is not working. Let's see if we can bring it back. Testing. Okay, we got it back. It is also guaranteed to work for you. If you use it properly and are consistent, it will work for you. We've got it in more than 50 different countries, and it is cost neutral. In fact, it costs $5 per day, and it will save you at least $5 to $10 per day. So you'll actually, it's cost neutral. If not, maybe it'll make you money depending on how much you spend on food and snacks. So what is it? This is 2 steps. And man, is it ever simple. I loved what Jonathan Scott just said. This is dumb easy, okay? Step 1, whenever you're not eating, what's another word for not eating? Whenever you're fasting, you sip something called the unimate. This comes from the mate plant. When I sip the unimate, it makes me forget about food. It makes me not want to snack. It makes me not want to overeat. When I'm fasting, when I'm taking a break from food between meals, and I like to skip breakfast most days as I'm fasting, my insulin levels come down. My body becomes more insulin sensitive. Insulin sensitive is the opposite of insulin resistant. You can have 1, 2, or some days I'll even have 3 or 4 unimates in a day just to avoid the food noise, which is something I've struggled with my whole life. So when you're not eating, you do the unimate. When it's time to eat, you take a blend of plant fiber. This is going to change the world. This was studied by the University of Sydney. They noted that it lowered blood sugar just about as effective as metformin. And recent studies show that it can sometimes perform better than metformin, but with no drugs. It was studied by the Cleveland Clinic. Wait till you hear what they said about it. You're going to see it all over the world. A typical day on the protocol looks like this. You've got breakfast, lunch, dinner. Maybe you're a snack or two. Maybe you have an afternoon snack. What we do is we skip a meal. Let's say we skip breakfast. Now, you don't have to skip a meal, but if you're trying to get rid of excess body fat, that's the fastest way to do it. Sipping the Unamate makes me forget that I'm skipping a meal. My body is burning fat for fuel. I'm eating my love handles for breakfast, and sipping Unamate makes me not feel hangry, right? Then I eat lunch. After lunch, I'll have another Unamate to replace that snack. So I'm not eating the peanut M&Ms and the Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke anymore. I'm having another Unamate. Before dinner, which is usually my largest meal each day, before your largest meal each day, a packet of the balance. I actually like to have a packet before both meals, but at least before your largest meal each day, a packet of the balance, the heaviest meal. Okay. It costs the $5 per day, but we're going to save $5 to $10 by cutting out breakfast and cutting out snacks, right? So we're going to take the money we save, and that will cover the cost of the protocol, making it cost neutral. In fact, if you've been on this protocol and you find that you're saving money every month, that you're actually making money or saving money living the protocol versus doing it without the protocol, would you write money in the chat? Write the word money in the chat if you are definitely saving money every month. Look at that. Okay. Look at that. This is the solution. This is the solution for poor people. This is the solution for all people. It's cost neutral and it is guaranteed to work. What do I mean by that? Well, there's for sure some skeptics listening in right now. Skeptics that say, I don't know about this. I've never heard of it. Why am I hearing about it now? Why hasn't my doctor told me about it? If this really worked and was guaranteed to work, everyone would know about it, right? If you were to go to your doctor right now and say, Doctor, have you heard of this new protocol? I've heard it's about to change the world and that it's been studied and it's amazing. Your doctor's likely going to be clueless. They'll say, I've never heard of it. What is it? And you won't be able to explain it very well because you've never started it, maybe. And so you'll be like, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Should I try it? What you do is you say to your doctor, Doctor, you know what? Could you look this up for me? And your doctor can pull out the physician's desk reference. And when they look it up in the PDR, in the physician's desk reference, they will say, wow, how have I never heard about this? Yeah, that sounds amazing. You should try that. You could try that. And let's see your blood work. Then picture this, 90 days later, you're sitting in your doctor's office and they're looking over your labs. And the doctor says, hey, this is kind of amazing. What did you say that stuff was called again? Based on your lab work, I want to tell more of my patients about this. It is happening all over the world right now. Your doctor can look up what the Cleveland Clinic said about it. This is the #1 heart hospital in the world. And this statement really says it all. This product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and/or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. This is why nobody's talking about it. This is going to be part of the unpharmification, the de-pharmification of North America and of the world. And this is why so many medical professionals are on this call right now. If you saw earlier when I asked the medical professionals, there's dozens on this call, is because the doctors are tired of all the meds. The doctors want minimum necessary medication, right? I mean, the pharmaceuticals would love us to sell more meds, but that's really not the medical community. They want people to get better. The doctor can look up the clinical studies. They can see the results. It eliminates the blood sugar spike, the insulin spike. It's extremely satiating. It helps prevent overeating. It's amazing for increasing the GLP-1. We started doing calls about this protocol because we wanted to change the world and save lives. And I just want to do a little temperature check on how we're doing so far, okay? So I'm going to do something. This may be a little risky. I've done it before plenty of times, so I think it'll work out in our favor. But if you have been using this protocol, or if somebody in your household has, and I don't care whether you've been using it for a week or a month or a year, if you have experienced a measurable positive result to any of the things related to insulin resistance, metabolic health problems, if you've experienced a measurable positive result, would you take 10 seconds and just put a note in the chat? Tell me what is the measurable, and I don't want you to exaggerate, okay? Just a measurable positive result. Put it in the chat. I want to read a handful of these so people can see that we mean what we're saying when we say this is going to change the world, okay? So I'm going to read a few of these. I'm scrolling because I'm buried in comments. Hold on. Okay. Michael Martin, 9.5 months on the protocol. I'm down 116 pounds. I used to take 25 pills per day, now down to 3 pills per day. I've reversed my type 2 diabetes. Amazing. Jimmy Elizondo, I've reversed my non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and type 2 diabetes. My blood pressure is down. My sleep apnea, depression, and erectile dysfunction are gone, down 88 pounds. Hold on. It's hard to follow this chat with new messages coming in. Give me just a moment. Deborah Saunders, headaches, fatigue, low testosterone, allergies have all gone down. I've lost 75 pounds, feeling amazing. I love this system. Renee Peterson, 15 months on the protocol, down over 70 pounds and 65 inches. Vertigo and inflammation are gone, off of my medications. Luann Stone, down 30 pounds, heart palpitations gone, rosacea gone, blurry vision is gone, eye floaters are gone, and my lifelong knee pain is also gone. Jessica White, down 17 pounds in 2 months. Sue Smith, 34 pounds down, amazing energy, severe inflammation is gone, severe brain fog is gone, no longer headed to the nursing home. I love that, Sue. Ralph Falconbury, down 50.2 pounds. A1C went from a 7.9 to a 5.4. Insulin resistance score has gone from a 5.6 down to a 1.5. I've eliminated an IBS and neuropathy foot pain. Oh, I missed a part. From a 4XL t-shirt down to an XL. Eliminated IBS and neuropathy foot pain, lowered blood pressure and cholesterol. I feel 20 years younger. Sandra Buffalini says, I have more energy. Renee Bird, I've reversed my type 2 diabetes. My depression is gone. My inflammation is gone. There are 82 additional messages. If I were to make these comments and claims, I would probably get in trouble. But when you share what's really happening for you, it really is magical. And I don't have time to read all of these, but I'm so happy for everyone. If you would like to order the protocol, okay, the manufacturer of the protocol has an amazing program. It's a 90-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. There's also a private coaching community where if you start the protocol, you can get daily coaching in our private coaching community on Facebook. Okay. The manufacturer has a great referral program. So let me explain how it works. This protocol normally costs about $235 a month. But when somebody sends you their discount link, you can save $75. It's $159, and you lock in that price forever. And when you order it, they will give you a referral link that you can use to refer somebody else and give them the same discount. If you refer somebody, they give you some credit on your account. I do not receive this product for free. I buy it every month. I pay the same price that you do, the $159 a month. This is what it looks like when it shows up. This is Unimate, and Balance. And they comes with a nice bottle, and it comes with a free gift and free shipping when you do a subscription. Give it 90 days, use it properly, and it will work for you. And if for any reason you're unsatisfied, you could just get a refund, right? Ask whoever invited you, say, send me the link, and they'll send you the discount link so that you get the better pricing, you get the guarantee, you get the private coaching, you get everything, right? And as soon as you order, you'll be able to refer other people if you want to and get free product or product credit towards your purchase. It is genius. It is beautiful. It's a way to share the health and get a little discount every month when people order the product. So it's a really great referral program. We hope you'll take advantage of it. Just ask whoever invited you to share the link. We're going to go to some questions. There are a couple of questions that have come in. There are also 90 different messages. I could not read all these success stories. I'm going to read a couple more. 6 weeks on it. I'm 12 pounds down. My eye sty is gone. Oh, okay. Inflammation down. Sam Watley, I've lost 40 pounds. My brain fog is gone. My fatigue is gone. My type 2 diabetes is now in the normal range, and my focus is awesome. Now, I want to be clear. Most people that start this protocol, at least in my case, I did not get quick results in terms of weight loss. It took me 5 weeks. I hadn't lost a pound. I felt better, but I hadn't lost a pound. This is not something that works overnight for everyone. There's no magic to this. We're just going to lean into the science. When you do the fasting and the fiber, magic can happen. And this makes fasting and fiber really easy. Vicky Abraham, I've lost 28 pounds in 3 months. My husband's lost 52 pounds. He's off a CPAP machine, lowered his blood pressure. I love this. Shannon Chan, I'd like to know if I'm the only one who, although I love the protocol, but my biggest thing and only thing I'm getting is I do feel a lot better, but I still have a big appetite and crave sweets. Let's talk about that, Shannon. We want to make sure one thing that's a simple change that you could try is I typically do the Unimate cold or room temperature, and I just sip it like one sip every 5 to 10 minutes. In fact, I'm due for one. But I've heard a lot of people that feel like when they heat it up and they drink it hot, like a hot tea, there's no tea in the product. It's the mate plant, right? But when they drink it like a hot herbal tea, that they find it's even more satiating. So try that. The other thing we could look at is, when you're having your balance, how far in front of your meal, and maybe make some adjustments. Laura has a question. Hi, thank you for the presentation. I'm curious, have any of your findings or outcomes been published in peer-reviewed journals or independent studies? I'd love to read more about the data behind the approach. It's a great question, Laura. The Cleveland Clinic study that I pulled that quote from, you can look that up on PubMed. And whoever invited you, if you ask them for the study, you can look up the study. There's actually more than 20 different clinical studies. Now, this is a private company. So the owner of the manufacturer is a cattle rancher who lives in Wyoming. And he's the kind of guy that refuses to sell his patents to pharma. I'm sure pharma would give their right eye to own the patents on this protocol, but he refuses to sell them, and he refuses to let his kids sell them. And so this is something that's really special, and they're not letting the drug companies get their hands on it, right? Now, the drug companies are big public companies that do studies that are with 1,000 people or 10,000 people, right? These are smaller studies because it's a private company. So I believe the one that the Cleveland Clinic did was with 119 patients. And, they're the #1 heart hospital in the world. It's been studied at the University of Sydney. It's been studied at Brigham Young, Stanford, UNLV, and a bunch of other institutions. And, the nice thing about the clinical studies is you really don't have to take my word for it, right? I mean, who cares what Trent thinks? Who's Trent? Go look at the studies. The studies are incredible. There was actually a recent study. The #1 expert in the world on insulin resistance is a guy named Ben Bickman, Dr. Benjamin Bickman. And he recently did a study with the Unimate and found that this often raises GLP-1 by 50% and sometimes more. What does that mean? People are taking Ozempic and Wegovy and Mounjaro and these injections, these GLP-1 injections, to raise their GLP-1 to block out food noise. Those are some pretty strong drugs, okay, with some pretty scary side effects for some people, right? They're also incredibly expensive. And you can actually get more GLP-1 without any drugs for a fraction of the cost by sipping Unimate. So, and there's studies that you can read about that. Okay, I'm going to try to answer a couple more questions. Does the protocol help with type 1 diabetes, specifically lowering A1C? I know multiple type 1 diabetics who say that this protocol has changed their life. The reason why they call the fiber balance, it's called balance because the fiber helps eliminate blood sugar spikes and blood sugar crashes. It balances the blood sugar. That's why it's called balance, right? And so a type 1 diabetic, we're not, we haven't had anybody say that it's reversed their type 1 diabetes, of course, right? But many type 1 diabetics say they're using a fraction of the insulin they used to be using, and it's amazing. Uriel Romero, yes, the water you count should count towards your water goals. Does drinking balance break a fast? I think balance is fine to drink. It's fiber. It's almost pure soluble fiber. There's some vitamins in there as well, and the fiber is different
Yep.
than regular food that we eat. Right? The fiber actually our bodies don't digest fiber. We don't have the enzymes to do it, but the microbes in our gut do it. And so, I think a simple answer is no. That probably wouldn't break your fast if you're just talking about a nutrient fast where your body is trying to keep insulin low and burn fat. Okay, I am at 1 hour. So we're going to end the call. Thank you for being here. If you or somebody you love, first off, thank you, Jonathan Scott. Amazing story. Thank you, Dr. Midge. Midgene Brown, endocrinologist in Toronto, Canada. That was an incredible presentation. And thank you, over 100 plus, I don't know how many people that shared their personal story here in the chat. Incredible. Love you all. If you or somebody you love is struggling with their metabolic health, invite them to this call next week. If they get on the protocol and if they just try it, what if it saves their life? What if it's the answer to all their problems? What else might it solve for them? Jonathan Scott talked about the other aspects of his life that have improved: his spirituality, his testosterone, etc. Right? And why not give it a try? It's guaranteed to work. What have you got to lose? So if you love somebody, invite them to the call next week. They will thank you later for it. Thanks, everybody. Awesome call.
Thank you so much for being on live tonight here with me. I had some technical problems earlier, so I rebroadcast last week. Tomorrow, I'm going to do the call that I had scheduled for this evening because I'll have the recording by then. But thank you for being here. This has changed my life. I'm off my medications. I no longer am pre-diabetic. 90 days, 25 pounds, 4 dress sizes and inches, and I haven't dieted or counted calories in, my goodness, 3 years. So it's food freedom. Anyways, if you'd like to learn more about it, you can private message me. If you are watching this on Facebook, go to the link in my bio or private message me. If you're on YouTube, you can do the same. Just send me a message. I'm here to help you. This comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. It's like having a sample for 90 days. And the only way this won't work for you is if you don't use it. You're going to get free coaching every Tuesday. We do a coaching call with medical professionals. And I will also add you to a group page that has over 2,000 people in it as a support group for you. Anyways, it's late, but I wanted to play this tonight. And thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you. My mission in life is to help as many people as I can get their metabolic health back in order because it's a tough world out there with all our processed modified foods. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate all of you and thank you. I'll see you. I'm going to be live tomorrow morning on TikTok. I might as well do Facebook and not LinkedIn, on not Instagram either. Maybe Instagram, I'll get it figured out. But on YouTube tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm in Colorado. Thank you. Have a great night. I appreciate all.